Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another top-level ranked cast. Today, I picked a game purely just because of the players that are in it. We got some people from Need Sponsor. We got some people from Sentinels. We got some people from Shroud X. We just found a absolutely stacked lobby today, so we're going to just waste no time and jump on into it. Other than telling you all that if you enjoy the videos, then please submit your replays or the replays of games you enjoy in the comments below, or consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. I say or, preferably and. Liking, commenting, subscribing, helping the channel that way, help with the algorithm. Or you can become a member, like Doki Poki, like Roshula, or like John, to help keep this channel alive. I do this because I love it, but groceries do cost money, so I will pitch to you, but that's the most I will do. For now, let's jump into the game and see where we are heading. We are heading to Yggdrasil Path. On the blue team, you can see some very familiar faces. We've got Crimzo, we've got Aramori. We also have some very high-level ranked players that I'm not too familiar with teams yet. We got tekixd, we got Sham, Quackly is super high up on the board almost every single time in terms of leaderboard. And we have Palico. And on the other side, JT3, who I believe is from Need Sponsor, but I will require correction on that if I'm incorrect. Dongmin, Senorhoff, Impuniti, and Doomed, all top-level players across the NA teams. And Mythical, who I'm also not too familiar with. The double ban onto the Human Torch. Going to get targeted away here. Groot and Magneto will be the follow-ups. Quackly looking to show us a little bit of that Mr. Fantastic, who again is jumping up in priority. So far, all of the Fantastic Four are getting play in Season 2, at least on the ranked servers so far. The Thing is actually receiving the least amount of play, but of course he is a counter-dive character, so can see play a fair amount if need be. Let's head on in and introduce our players, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be starting off on the blue team with tekixd playing the Venom. Sham1 is on that Black Widow, another Black Widow player. We have ttvquacklylol. They are starting on Mr. Fantastic, but might be swapping off as they're currently just hanging out. Crimzo on that Emma Frost. LvPalico is playing the Mantis, and aramori is playing Rocket Raccoon. And on the other side, in the red trunks, it is going to be JT3TTV playing the Emma Frost. Dongmin is going to be playing Rocket Raccoon. Senorhoff is on that Iron Fist. Impuniti, we talked about the Thing, going to be showing up here. Doomed. I would have yelled it, but it's not in caps. They are playing the Hella. Well, they're not playing the Hella, they are at least on the Hella. And we have Mythical playing the Rocket Raccoon. Going to be heading on in. No particular player we're watching today. We are just on to the best game we can get. One of the coolest games in terms of absolutely stacked players that I could find here. Diving onto the backline, trying to put a little bit of pressure in here. Quick lockup and absolutely destroyed Sham. Sending shots downrange, not able to find too many eliminations yet. Immediately getting dove by Iron Fist. Once again, deflect and Dragon Kick to disengage. Lovely pick up there onto Mythical. Crimzo picked off as well, but revived at the BRB. Currently numbers advantage in favor of blue team, but they're starting to get pushed back a bit here. The Iron Fist once again back in. Down goes JT3. And Senorhoff consistently harassing here. Here comes the Plasma Burst for the immediate turn onto Venom to try and lock him down. The knockback. Soul Siphoned. The Seer already dropped from the blue side. Aramori keeping their team topped up on the Senorhoff to retreat a bit here. Here comes the counter Seer from Mythical as Senorhoff pushes in deep, trying to use that percentage damage to melt through the front line here. Beautiful shot coming in there with that Psionic Seduction to try and lock down that hypermobile Iron Fist. Takes to the sky, gonna meditate, heal back up as they push on in. Palico with that Soul Rejuvenation, Feast from the Abyss coming in. Doom picked off by the Wolverine of Quackly that has come in from the side. Wonderful pickup. Perfect catch mid-air. And blue team repel red team once again. Fantastic switch up here. Senorhoff going to be ditching that Iron Fist. Losing the team up value with dongmin on that Lunar Snow. But instead, bringing out the Punisher. Going to try and just burn through this front line here. They have that team up with the Rocket Raccoon. So they can go in for just maximum damage output here. Trying to take care of Venom, but instead the focus is going to be onto Wolverine. Got to be careful of that. Black Widow in the backline, though, was doing a lot of damage here. They seem to be super careful not to get hit. Instead of playing hypermobile. Here comes the Seer focusing onto it, but with the pressure from that Venom, they're forced to reevaluate, back up, and regroup with the rest of their team. Aramori keeping their team topped up, driving them forward, and healing. The Seer is currently up, doomed, off to the side, gets spotted, goes right into the sky. This could be the opening that their team needs to move in. They're going to try and make the engagement here. In the backline, melts down Sham and Palico. Palico comes back at the BRB. Sham not so lucky, and Coax taken out by Sentinels, who is melting them with that final judgment. Will finally be taken down by Crimzo, but JT3 gets revenge. They're heading in towards point number 1. Here comes tekixd. Gonna try and portal in to allow them to hold at point number 1 with under 5 meters left to go, making their way in. Here comes the Soul Rejuvenation from Palico to try and hold the line. The Seer picked off, targeted down here. Plasma, I believe it went out, but I'm not sure where. Damage output is good though, but it's not enough. Their team is cleaned off the board here, and Sham is forced to back away, getting chased and targeted here. Will be able to get out of danger. The Thing very far up here. Sentinels looking to see if there is an opportunity to re-engage. Looking out for anyone on the flank. Quackly back on that Mr. Fantastic. Ready to try and help crowd control, and a little bit of CC. Finds the BRB. We'll take that out. Makes their way in, shielding onto that Emma Frost as they push in. Trying to get into the back line, that inflated defensive form. The fate of both worlds has to be dropped here by dongmin as they were going to get pulled, pushed back here. Silent Seduction from JT3, trying to chase back the back members here. The Seer is picked off in the backline. Brainiac bounce for Quackly to try and zone him away. Looks for Rocket first. But Mythical is already out of danger. Brought back at the BRB of Aramori, who is also worried about the Thing here that's trying to chase on in. Keep the team topped up. Clambering Time comes out. Great mobility here to stay out of danger. Keeping the team topped up. Playing so quickly here. And the pressure is on right now. Red team driven back once more. Blue team holding their line here. Taking shots down range, not finding any particular targets. Not yet, at least. Quackly spreading the damage here. You can see those little shakes to make sure that that arm hits multiple targets here. Tries to pull in JT3 to push them out of position. Inflated form, just sticking on the high ground though. Even though they got that extra armor, they're not willing to overextend. But here comes the infinite ammo as Sentinels is now in position to try and melt down the front line here. Final judgment comes on in. Whoops, I accidentally hit the minus button to slow it down. That was awesome. Pushing on in. Trying to get onto Venom on the high ground. Not enough for the finishing blow. Apologies for hitting the wrong button there. Chasing deep onto the Venom, point blank. And that may have been a mistake. Venom, one of the best 1v1 characters in the game, driving them back. Time has been bought though. As Red Team stuck in overtime here. Need to stay on the point to hold the line. Fate of both worlds gonna be dropped. The healing coming out from LvPalico as they push on inside of Seduction. Not enough. Vader both want the Battle Fire, but Doom does have that Goddess of Death and is going to take to the sky to avoid the Brainiac bounce, but that's still pressuring the healers, pressuring the backliners, forced off the point. Doomed sieging onto Quackly there and turns the attention to the Venom, who swings away. Too much sustained with that symbiotic resistance, but do they have any healers here to keep them up? Quacks is back, focused down. Wonderful pickup. Look for the second melee. Black Widow there trying to take out that Goddess of Death, but that's going to be the pickup. And we will see Red Team hit point number 2 in overtime. Gotta get real close here. We're going to see Tech bringing out the Thing of their own here. Both teams bringing out Thing and Wolverine. Senorhoff on that Wolverine, able to isolate people and was burning through that front line. The Thing not able to be picked off and isolated as such. It's all about the percentage damage down to Senorhoff can offer. Offering the throw. We don't see this in pro play too often, but it can be used. Trying to get them into position to get a quick isolation. Does not find it. Got to wait for the cooldown now. Quick knock up from the atmospheric charge. Finds Quackly. The opposing Wolverine forced to back away though. A little outnumbered. Sonic Seduction coming in, getting a good amount of damage. Earthbound preventing that mobility. Seer Beacon is up for both teams, keeping the sustain going, but Aramori has already been taken out. Sentinels focused down, forced to dash away, keep their team up as Mythical is allowing the retreat with that extra healing. Trying to throw in Sentinels once again, takes them into the backline. Lockdown, Earthbound, meaning they cannot isolate or pick up anyone. Finally finds Quackly as the isolation expires. That Earthbound that was preventing them from dashing wears off. Lockdown again. Clobbering time coming out from Tech. Sham is high in the background, trying to take out Doom, but can't find the target here. Impunity with their own clobbering time. Trying to get onto the backline to buy them a little bit of extra time. Final stand into the backline. Huge chase with that Stone Aegis. The embattled leap to follow up here. Keeping the team top, buying as much time as they can, but Red Team is starting to fall. Doomed gets one. Overtime is ticking down, though. They basically have to win a huge big fight here, but no. Portal's not in time. They choose to protect themselves rather than buy that little bit of extra time. Hoping their team would portal in. If they were alive and their team had made that portal, they could have assisted. If they'd got in and got eliminated, even if their team had hit the portal, they might have lost the fight because they were down. It was a strategic choice. It's just that the portal was not quick enough because of how the spawn timers worked out. Very close matchup so far. 2 points is what is acquired. Let's look at the statistics. Currently, top eliminations going to be 20 for Doomed. With 12 of those being final hits. Top final hits does go over to Sham on that Black Widow with 13. Top damage. Emma Frost. The damage output is really, really strong. 23k for Crimzo. Doing big DPS output here. Top damage blocked. 28k, 33k for Impuniti. Attacking the front line for their team here. Though you can see there's been a little bit of a front line swapping here. Obviously, Quackly has been playing Mr. Fantastic, and Wolverine has been in the front line a fair amount. Crimzo has been front line, and Tech currently swapping off of the Vanguard. They're going to go solo Vanguard and onto the Adam Warlock here. Top healing, by the way, 25k for Dongmin. As we are heading in. Solo Vanguard Crimzo. Going to try and hold the line for their team, drive them back. They're going to try and rely on triple strategist. Psychic Spears coming out from both Emma Frosts. Using that Mind's Aegis to protect their own spear here. A lot of damage being dealt. Wolverine isolation. Nicely done. Diamond form, though, with the help of that regeneration domain. Shuts it down. Doomed is able to pick up tekixd, though. And they mail through Impuniti. The Thing gonna start to have a little bit of trouble here. Just getting focused down as like one of the main front lines. Both frontliners very vulnerable. They do not have a lot of protection outside of that Mind's Aegis. You can see the damage output starting to melt in, even with that Adam Warlock, who's going to be able to unleash cosmic clusters into that massive hitbox of the thing. Exactly what we're seeing here. You see to try and push in. Senorhoff swapping over to the Winter Soldier, back in spawn on the defense. Sia comes out melted by the Adam Warlock here. Crimzo with the psionic seduction to try and lock down Doomed. It's enough to pick him off here. JT3 is mirroring to try and find someone, but their team is outnumbered and they get isolated by Quackly. Quackly has gone a little bit too deep potentially though. Up to the high ground, away from the Winter Soldier to get out of danger. Did a little bit alone though, doesn't want to get caught isolated, doesn't want to get caught alone. Getting healed up slowly. Will be able to stay here in zone for their team. Now this solo Vanguard composition with triple strategist is currently working. Blue team holding the line. We so rarely see solo Vanguard compositions because they are often so weak. But with this kind of triple strategist, they're making it work. Clobbering time comes on out. Mythical with Sia to try and keep the team topped up as they push on in. Aramori's expires. As Doomed picks up Sham again. Doomed has been on fire on this Hella. Immediately into the backline, doing damage to Crimzo. Lovely Soul Cypher there. Almost locks down Quackly all the way, but Senorhoff is able to get the final blow. And Doomed waiting to see if anyone steps up again. Has another Soul Siphon. Could try and lock someone in here. Gets a good hit onto Sham. Trying to keep the zone going. Mythical has already fallen. In comes the dive. Hyper aggressive from that Black Widow. Charging in, looking for Widow's Bites. Picked out of that Goddess of Death immediately. Final stand comes in. But Doomed is very isolated from the rest of the team now, leaving just Senorhoff to really do the damage. The rest of the team has been zoned out and is getting picked off here. Can't find Aramori. Focus down. Kraken impact. Soldier's Fist for disengage. Forced to retreat. Quackly has moved back over to the Mr. Fantastic here. Trying to give at least a semblance of a second Vanguard. Doomed is still stuck in the backline. Looking for a way back to their team. They're doing good damage back here. Finds Aramori, finds the pickup. It's fantastic. The chase is real. Astral Flock. Up to the high ground with the charge. The knockbacks, the slows are good. Doom doesn't get the map heal. It's stolen. Beautiful 1v1 by Quackly, who will now make their way back to the rest of their team. Finds the high ground. Mythical chasing them down here. Not enough for the finishing blow. Sia comes up for that extra health. Picking off Aramori's once again. Sorry, picking off Mythicals. Aramori's is still up. Still keeping the team healed here. And Quackly putting on a clinic right now will finally get locked down thanks to JT3 in that diamond form with the CC that they offer. Counter diamond form coming in from Crimzo to offer a turnaround. Tex is keeping the team topped up, giving them a little bit of sustain as best they can. Clobbering time comes out. Adam Warlock into the air, immediately into Cocoon. Sham goes down. Palico is going to drop that Soul Rejuvenation, but are they going to be able to hold the line for the moment? Senorhoff has returned with Doctor Strange. Has Portal, did not use it to get here. Just ran in with Strange and has that Eye of Agamotto, but is going to get picked off. Return to the BRB, but that means Impuniti will not be returning. Doomed is isolating. Psionic Seduction into Goddess of Death right away. Into the backline. Bye-bye, Adam Warlock. Once again, finds Sham on the flank. Not enough for the finishing blow. And will finally get dropped down to the low ground, forced to back away. Chased down as Crimzo is on an absolute tear right now. Portal came out to try and reinforce, but it was not in time. Senorhoff now portalless, but still has that Eye of Agamotto, so will be holding on. Triple Vanguard right now. JT3, Senorhoff, and Impuniti. all in on this tank setup. Here comes Sonic Seduction into a very grouped up blue team to try and lock him in. Gets a little bit onto Mantis, but they're just around the corner. Not enough for the finishing blow as JT3 is chased on down. Senorhoff has already fallen. Doomed is onto the Psylocke to try and wrap around from the side. They have that team up with Ember Frost, but it's on cooldown, so they're just forced to disengage. Quackly back on Wolverine once again with 3 Vanguards. Of course you do. Tries to get Strange, but it is blocked off. A lot of damage coming in, but with Triple Strategist, they are topped up. They are tanking through. Senorhoff's been holding on to this for a long time. They need to be ready to pull the trigger at some point. Soul Rejuvenation dropped quite early, probably expecting that Eye of Agamotto. There comes the final stand from Wolverine. Does not get the pickup, but the Diamond Form does. Quackly gets the finishing blow. Senorhoff returns at the BRB. Clobbering time comes out from Impuniti. Able to pick up one. Sham falls. Returns at the BRB. They're trying to push on through, but Wolverine, the percentage damage is strong. Senorhoff falls again. This time will not be revived. Karmic Revival is coming out. JT3 has brought in the Captain America for speed as the finish line is right there. They need bodies on the board to keep this held. They're giving everything they can, but it's just one by one. The team getting picked off over and over again. Impunity, they have to touch. They will touch, but who's left? Eye of Agamotto, but it's too late. And that's going to be the 3-2 in favor of blue team. What an intense matchup. Crimzo, solo vanguarding, not surprising, they get MVP. Their damage absorbed and their damage done numbers are going to be crazy. Let's see them. 40 eliminations, 9 of which being final hits. 41k damage, 10k more than anyone else in the game, and 53k damage blocked. Only the second highest, Impunity, able to close that out with 57k. Incredibly done. Top eliminations though, 34 to Sham, with 29 of which being final hits. Quackly, 15 being final hits. Doomed, 19. 10 more than anyone else in the game. I'm curious. Hold on, I need to look. We recently watched the, at the time of me recording, #1 ranked Black Widow player. Where is Sham compared to ZZ1? According to Rivals Meta, which of course is just one website using its own algorithm, it's not going to be perfect, but according to that, ZZ1 is a higher ranked Black Widow than Sham. ZZ1 has a 70% win rate with it, whereas Sham has a 65% win rate. But I'd still love to see these two go up against each other one day. Perhaps a little bit of a sniper battle we could see come before us. Top healing, gonna be Dongmin. 40k healing, doing huge work for their team. Keeping them sustained, but not enough to close this out. A very fun game to cast, a very fun game to watch, and I hope you all enjoyed. Sometimes we don't need to watch the best player in a certain role. We just need a big group of really good players absolutely battering each other. And that's what we saw here today. Some interesting compositions. We saw a triple tank composition, a solo tank versus a solo tank composition. Something that almost never works, but they found a way to make it work this time. I like it. Very well played. And you can also send in a game you would like me to cast. What do you want to see in the future? Just send in some replay IDs if you're scrolling through Rivals Meta like I do, or through the leaderboards, and you find something that looks interesting, then send it over. You're watching a streamer and you see him play. Send me what time they played the game, and I'll see if I can find it. It's not going to be... And if you can send the players as well, maybe the stream VOD, I can try and track it down that way. It's a little bit more difficult, but it's something I am willing to try. But for now, I hope you've all enjoyed. I have been Tetcher. Reminder to like, comment, and subscribe. Become a member to help support the channel, or just drop a single super thanks. Reminder, we are currently on a goal to hit 5,000 subscribers, and we are currently sitting at 4,944 subscribers. We are 56 subs away from hitting that 5,000 sub goal where I will start to stream. When I start to stream, I'll be doing a lot more viewer submissions. So if you want your games cast, send the replay IDs in the comments. I will try and get to them, especially once we hit that sub number. But in order to help that, you need to subscribe. For now, though, thank you all very much for watching. I have been Tetcher, and I will see you all tomorrow.